Today is December 27th. It's 10:39 in the morning, Eastern Standard Time. As I was in prayer this morning, the Lord told me that He wants to speak to the people about prayer. So this is what He said. My word commands you to pray without ceasing. So why have I not heard from you? Why is there distance between us? Am I not the God I always was? I am always listening. My word tells you to cast your cares on me, to lay your burdens down. Many of you are carrying weight my son took upon himself, a burden that was never meant for you. Surrender it. Lay it at my feet. My plans are not your plans. My ways are higher than yours, higher than the heavens. What wisdom do you have that I haven't given you? Faith is the evidence of things not seen. Without faith, it is impossible to please me. But with a tiny mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it must obey. Creation bows to me. I am the Lord thy God. With men, it is impossible. But what is impossible for me? I am the all-sufficient one, mighty in battle, a conquering king. I give a command and it goes forth. My faithfulness is great. I have made with you an everlasting covenant. I'm not a man that I should lie. Where is there a God like me? Turn your eyes away from worthless things. Remember them no more. What greater love is there than this? While you were still sinners, Christ died for you. He was bruised for your iniquity, led like a lamb to the slaughter. And by his stripes, you are healed. So I just want to speak to you from a personal standpoint. I know sometimes it's easy to get caught up in the responsibilities and the expectations of life to the point where you stop praying as much. Or maybe you've been praying about something you really want to see God move on, and he doesn't move as fast as you would like him to. Maybe he doesn't move at all. Maybe it doesn't look like anything is happening. But what I'm hearing him say here is the command already went out. But we need to have faith. We need to believe him for it. Faithless prayers do us no good. We need to go into that prayer thanking him and considering it already done. And if it be his will, it will be done, because nothing can stop his will. Not all the forces of hell can stop his will. And if it's not his will, no amount of prayer will change the circumstance. Now, I know that's difficult for any one of us to hear, right? But God is clear that his ways are not our ways, and his thoughts are higher than our thoughts. And because of that reason, we have to learn to walk by faith and not by sight. And that's not an easy journey. It's not an easy task, because he's asking you to trust in what you can't visibly see in front of you. But the command has already gone out, and God is moving. God is always listening. God always hears us. He is not deaf. His arm has not been shortened. He is the same God yesterday, today, and forever. He was performing miracles back then. He's doing mighty miracles now. And some of you can attest to that fact. Many of you can attest to that fact. that he is a mighty deliverer. He is a healer. He is a great comforter. And some of you have been introduced to a peace you didn't know your whole life. I know I have. So what I want to say to you is this. Don't say the prayer. Get frustrated because you don't see any movement, and stop praying for that. It says the fervent prayer of the righteous is powerful and effective. Fervent prayer. Keep praying, keep seeking, and you will keep finding him. Keep drawing near to him, and he will draw near to you. Keep believing him for it, and if it be in his will, nothing will stop what God has for you. And if he doesn't stop it, he has his reasons. Now, I would have liked very much 5 years ago for God to keep my mother alive. I would have liked for her to come out of that coma. I would have liked for the doctor to not come back to me and say that the brain damage was so extensive because of the aneurysm that she had, that she was now only operating with 10% of her brain, or having to make that decision in a room full of family members to let her go because that was never something that she would want. But I clung to the Lord like a lifeline. Even though I was angry and didn't understand what he had done, I had nothing left. I had nothing left. I felt alienated by my own family, but me and my mother had grown incredibly close, and we did not have a good relationship. For years, we did not have a good relationship, but God. And so when he chose to take her, I clung to him like an oxygen tank. And I worshiped him through tears. Even when I didn't feel like praising him, I did. And I had an expectation. I had an expectation that if I keep seeking you, I'm going to find you. And if I keep searching for you, you will manifest in all your glory. You will show up strong. I believed it, even though I couldn't physically see anything in front of me. But the command had already gone out, and God was already moving behind the scenes, and I couldn't see it. And I got delivered in a Brazilian church at a youth service on a Friday night after throwing up my hands in surrender and worship to the most beautiful voices I'd ever heard singing. And I didn't know a word of what was being said, but I got delivered that night from so many things. And I could not, no matter how much I tried to go back to Egypt, tried to go back to captivity, tried to go back to the circle and the friends that I had associated with, tried to go back into the same situations where I once felt comfortable. He wouldn't allow it. He wouldn't allow it. So if God has taken certain friends away, trust and believe that he will give you new ones, better ones, ones that edify, empower, and encourage and don't support you in wickedness. If God took away somebody that was near and dear to your heart, and I do not want to act for a second like that is an easy thing. Okay, I understand grief. I understand loss. And sometimes we don't understand why certain people have to be taken from us. But God knows. God used the death of my mother to draw me into the closest relationship that I could possibly have with him, because I felt like there was nothing left. And faith is born in desperate, hopeless, helpless, situations. So I just want to end this by saying, whatever you're praying for, don't stop praying. Keep believing for it. And if it doesn't happen, don't love him any less. Don't stop praising him any less. Because what God has done for us is unfathomable. Unfathomable. He loved us while we rebelled against him, while we rejected him, while we mocked him, while we blasphemed him, while we continued grieving his heart over and over and over and over again. And he loved us no less. So I just want you to know God is listening. God heard you. God is moving. The command has gone out. And his word does not return to him void.